Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Sleep to Islam, where I read the English translations of surahs in the Quran. In this video, I will be finishing Surah al Kahf, so if you haven't seen part 1, make sure to check that out. And let's just get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Prophet, give them the similitude of the life of this world. It is like the vegetation of the earth that flourishes with the rain from the sky, but afterwards the same vegetation turns into dry stubble, which is blown away by the winds. Allah is the one who has power over everything. Likewise, wealth and children are an attraction of this worldly life, yet honourable deeds that last forever are better rewarded by your Rabb, and hold for you a better hope for salvation. You should prepare for that day when we shall set the mountains in motion, and you will see the earth as a barren waste, when we shall assemble mankind all together, leaving not even a single soul behind. They all will be brought before your Rabb, standing in rows, and he will say, "Well, you have returned to us as we created you at first, even though you claimed that we had not fixed any time for the fulfillment of this promise of meeting with us." Then the book of their deeds will be placed before them. At that time you will see the sinners in great terror because of what is recorded therein. They will say, "Woe to us, what kind of a book is this? It leaves out nothing small or large. All is noted down. They will find all that they did recorded therein. Your Rabb will not be unjust to anyone in the least." When we said to the angels, "Prostrate yourself before Adam," so they all prostrated themselves except Iblis. Shaitan, who was one of the jinns and chose to disobey the commandment of his Rabb, would you then take him and his children as your protectors rather than me, even though they are your enemies? What a bad substitute the wrongdoers have chosen. I did not call them to witness the creation of the heavens and the earth, nor their own creation, nor do I take those who lead mankind astray as my supporters. On the day of judgment Allah will say to them, "Call on those whom you thought to be my partners." They will call them, but will receive no answer, and we shall put enmity between them. The criminals will see the fire and realize that they are going to fall into it, and they will find no place to escape. We have given all kinds of examples in this Quran for the people to understand its message, but man is exceedingly conscientious, and nothing has prevented people from believing and seeking the forgiveness of their Rabb, now that guidance has come to them, except that they are waiting for the fate of former people to overtake them, or the scourge to be brought to them face to face. We send the Rasuls only as bearers of good news and as warners, but the unbelievers seek to defeat the truth with false arguments, and they mocked at my revelations and warnings. Who is more unjust than the one who, when reminded of the revelations of his Rabb, turns away from them and forgets what his own hands have done? In regards to such people, we have cast veils over their hearts so they do not understand this Quran, to his young servant, "I will not give up my journey until I reach the junction of the two seas, even if I have to spend ages in travel." It so happened that when at last they reached the junction of the two seas, they forgot about the fish they were carrying, which made its way into the sea and disappeared. When they had passed on some distance, Musa asked his young servant, "Let us have our meal. Really, we have suffered much fatigue at this stage of our journey." He replied, "You know, I forgot to tell you about the fish which made its way miraculously into the river. When we were resting beside that rock, it was Shaitan who made me forget to mention this incident to you." Musa said, "That is the place we were looking for." So they went back, retracing their footsteps. They found one of our servants, Khidr, whom we had blessed with special favour from ourselves, and whom we had given special knowledge of our own. Musa requested of him, "May I follow you, so that you may teach me from that true knowledge which you have been taught?" He answered, "Surely you will not be able to bear with me, for how can you have patience about that which is beyond your knowledge?" Musa said, "If Allah wills, you shall find me patient, and I shall not disobey you in any way." He said, "If you want to follow me, then do not question me about anything until I tell you about it myself." So they set forth, but when they embarked in a boat to cross the river, Khidr made a hole in it. Musa said, "Did you make a hole in it to drown its passengers? You have done a weird thing." He said, "Didn't I say that you would not manage to have patience with me?" Musa said, "Pardon my forgetfulness. Please do not be hard in dealing with me on account of this mistake." So they journeyed on until they met a boy, and Khidr killed him. Musa said, "You have killed an innocent person, though he had killed nobody. Surely you have done a terrible thing." Khidr said, "Did I not tell you that you will not be able to bear with me?" Musa replied, "If ever I ask you about anything after this, you may not keep me in your company, for then I should deserve it, because you will have any excuse in my case." They travelled on until they came to the people of a town. They asked them for some food, but they refused to receive them as guests. There they found a wall on the point of falling down, so he restored it. Musa said, "If you wanted, you could have taken some wages for it." Khidr replied, "That's it. This is the parting between you and me. But first, I will explain to you those acts of mine which you could not bear to watch with patience. As for the boat, it belonged to some poor fishermen who toiled on the sea. I intended to damage it because there was a king after them who was seizing every boat by force. As for the youth, his parents are true believers, and we feared lest he would oppress them by rebellion and disbelief. It was our wish that our Rabb should grant them another in his place, a son more righteous and a better in affection. As for the wall, it belonged to 2 orphan boys in the city, and beneath it their treasure was buried. Since their father was a righteous man, your Rabb decided that these children should attain their maturity and take out their treasure. All this was done as a mercy from your Rabb. What I did was not done by my own will. That is the interpretation of those actions which you could not bear to watch with patience. O Muhammad, they ask you about Dhul Qarnayn. Say, I will recite to you some of his story. Indeed, we established his power in the land, and we gave him all kinds of ways and means. So one time he followed a certain punish them or to show them kindness. He said, anyone who will do wrong shall be punished. Then will he return to his Rabb and be sternly punished by him. As for him who believes and does good deeds, he will have a good reward, and will be assigned an easy task by our command. Then he set out another expedition towards the east and marched on till he came to the rising of the sun, the east. He noticed it rising on a people for whom we had not provided any shelter from it. He left them as they were. We had full knowledge of what was before him. Then he set out on another expedition and marched on till he reached between two mountains, where he found a people who could hardly understand his language. They requested, O Dhul Qarnayn, the people of Ya'juj and Ma'juj ravaged this land. Should we pay you tribute in order for you to build a wall barrier between us and them? Dhul Qarnayn said, that which my Rabb has granted me is more than enough. Just help me with workers and I will erect a fortified barrier between you and them. Bring me panels of iron. Finally, when he dammed up the space between the two mountains, he said, ply your bellows. They did so until the iron wall became red hot. Then he said, bring me some molten brass to pour over it. This became such a barrier that George and Medjord could not scale it or dig through it. He said, this is a blessing from my Rabb, but you should know that when the promise of my Rabb shall come to pass, he will level it to the ground, for the promise of my Rabb is ever true. On that day we shall let the people loose to scourge like waves to one another. The trumpet will be blown, and we shall assemble them together. We shall spread hell out on display before the unbelievers, who had turned a blind eye to my admonition and a deaf ear to my warning. Do the unbelievers think that they can take my servants as protectors to save themselves from hell instead of me? Certainly we have prepared hell for the entertainment of such unbelievers. O Muhammad, tell them, should we tell you the worst kind of losers relating to their deeds, those whose efforts in this worldly life had gone astray from the right way, but all along they were under the delusion that they were doing good deeds? They are the ones who are disregarding the revelations of their Rabb and the fact that they will need him for accountability of their deeds in the hereafter. So their deeds will become null and will not have any weight on the day of resurrection. Thus the reward of such people will be hell, because they had no faith and because they took my revelations and my Rasul as a joke. However, those who believe and do good deeds will be entertained with the gardens of paradise to live therein forever, and they will never desire to go anywhere else. O Muhammad, tell them, if the water of the ocean were ink with which to write the words of my Rabb, the ocean would surely be consumed before the words of my Rabb are finished, even if we brought another ocean of similar quantity to replenish it. O Muhammad, tell them, I am but a human being like you. The revelation is sent to me to declare that your God is one God, Allah. Therefore, whomever hopes to meet his Rabb, let him do good deeds and join no other deity in the worship of his Rabb. Sadaqallah al-Azim. That was part 2 of Surah al Kahf, and if you enjoyed that, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.